You might think it's just a harmless habit. You've done it for decades. You're not hurting anyone. You're not doing anything dangerous. But what if I told you that one common mistake during masturbation, something nearly every man does automatically, could be silently cutting off circulation to the very area you care about most? And what if that mistake, repeated often enough, could be the reason you're losing sensitivity, struggling with performance, and waking up feeling less like yourself every day? I'm Dr. Sophia Jain. I've spent over 20 years helping men over 60 restore their blood flow, regain their vitality, and reclaim the confidence they thought they had lost. I've worked with teachers, truck drivers, musicians, you name it. And you know what I've seen again and again? Men who are doing everything else right, eating well, exercising, taking their vitamins, but still they were facing the same slow decline in energy, intimacy, and circulation. The reason? A quiet mistake they never even knew they were making, and it almost always started in the most private part of their routine, their masturbation habits. Now, before you feel attacked or uncomfortable, let me be clear. This is not about guilt. This is not about morality. This is about biology. And if you're a man over 60, your biology has changed. Your blood vessels have aged, your hormones have shifted, your recovery time is longer. And what once felt natural in your 30s or 40s might now be creating tension, pressure, and damage to your most delicate circulatory structures. The number one mistake: rushing through the act. Treating masturbation like a task, a quick release, a sprint instead of a stretch. You see, when you rush, especially under tension, like in secret, under stress, or just out of boredom, your nervous system goes into a mild panic state. Your heart rate spikes, your breathing shortens, your pelvic muscles tighten, and instead of supporting healthy blood flow, your body responds as if it's under attack. That may sound dramatic, but the science backs it up. Sudden arousal with no preparation leads to constriction in the vessels. And for older men, that means fewer nutrients, less oxygen, and increased microdamage in the very veins you rely on for arousal and performance. And here's where it gets worse. Your body learns. If you repeatedly train it to associate pleasure with tension, with speed, with stress, it builds that pattern into your nervous system. So when the time comes for real intimacy, something slower, more emotional, more connected, your body doesn't know how to respond. It's been wired for shortcuts, for urgency, not connection. I had a patient once, 68 years old, widowed, trying to date again. He told me, "Doc, I just can't feel anything anymore. I try, I want to, but I'm numb." He wasn't broken, he wasn't depressed, but he had spent years rushing through masturbation as a way to cope with loneliness and stress. His body had learned to shut down rather than open up. And that single shift, rushing the act, had slowly killed his circulation. Now, let's pause for a second, because I want you to know this isn't permanent. The body is capable of rewiring, of healing, of restoring flow, but you have to break the old pattern. That starts by slowing down, taking time, breathing deeply, creating space for relaxation instead of urgency. Speaking of breathing, let's talk about mistake number 2. Because even when men slow down, they often carry tension in another way, through breath holding. Most men don't even realize they're doing it. They clench their stomach, tighten their jaw, lock their pelvic floor, and they forget to breathe. It's subtle, but it's powerful, because breath is blood flow. When you hold your breath, even briefly, your brain receives signals that something is wrong, that you're in danger. And guess what it does in response? It constricts the arteries. It reduces nitric oxide. It shuts down non-essential circulation, including to the penis. Breathing isn't just about oxygen. It's about signaling safety. When your breath is deep, slow, and rhythmic, your parasympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for rest and arousal, activates. It opens up your vessels, it supports healthy erection function, it promotes recovery and sensation. But when your breath is shallow or absent, everything tightens, everything retreats. You may still climax, but the after effect? Numbness, fatigue, disconnection. One of the first things I teach older men in my clinic is to reconnect with their breath, not just during intimacy, but in every part of their life. Because when breath becomes conscious, blood flow improves naturally. Now, you might be wondering, what about frequency? How often is too often? That brings us to the third big mistake: masturbating daily without allowing your body to recover. Think of your arousal system like a muscle. It needs stimulation, yes, but it also needs rest. Growth doesn't happen during the workout. It happens during recovery. And most older men, especially those dealing with loneliness or boredom, fall into a daily habit that drains their hormonal reserves. After 60, testosterone doesn't rebound like it used to. Nitric oxide production slows. The dopamine spike you used to get from climax, it's weaker. So if you're climaxing every day, or worse, multiple times a day, without enough recovery, you're training your body to operate on fumes. You may not notice it right away, but the signs creep in. Your drive lessens, your erections weaken, you feel foggy, disconnected, maybe even a little depressed. And you start to feel like you've lost a part of yourself. One man told me, "I thought I was doing the healthy thing by releasing regularly, but now I just feel empty." That's the trap. Frequency isn't bad, but without rest, without intention, without understanding what your body needs now, not what it needed 20 years ago, you risk turning a once vital act into a slow leak of your strength. So what's the answer? Spacing things out, focusing on quality over quantity, giving your body a few days to rebuild. Let your hormones recalibrate. Let your sensitivity return. But even that won't matter if you're still making the fourth and final mistake. And this one may be the most damaging of all because it starts not in the body, but in the brain.
Mistake number 4, using high-stimulation pornography that hijacks your nervous system and disconnects your brain from your body. Now look, I understand the appeal. It's fast, it's easy, it doesn't ask anything of you. But modern pornography is not neutral. It's designed by experts to trigger the most intense dopamine release possible in the shortest amount of time. And for a man over 60, whose brain is already more sensitive to overstimulation, this becomes dangerous territory. Why? Because your brain controls blood flow. Your mind sets the tone for arousal. And when you rely on fast, high-intensity visual stimulation to become aroused, you condition your brain to need it. Over time, the natural pathways, those that respond to human touch, emotional connection, subtle cues of intimacy, get weaker. I've seen men who were perfectly healthy physically, but their bodies just wouldn't respond anymore. Not because of disease, not because of age, but because their arousal circuit had been reprogrammed. Their nervous system was addicted to novelty. And as a result, when real intimacy showed up, it felt dull, flat, unsatisfying. You know what happens next? They start to avoid real intimacy. They make excuses. They feel embarrassed. Their confidence drops. Their partner senses something's off. And before long, the emotional distance starts growing. It's not just physical anymore, it's psychological. And for many men, this becomes the most painful part, not the dysfunction, but the disconnection. One man, 72 years old, looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, "I love my wife, but I can't feel anything when we're together, and I'm afraid she thinks I don't love her anymore." That broke my heart. Because he wasn't broken. He was just stuck in a pattern his body didn't know how to escape from. So what's the solution? First, stop flooding your brain with artificial extremes. If you've been using modern pornography every day, or even several times a week, begin to taper it down. Reduce the intensity, switch to softer content, or even better, try memory-based stimulation, things that are grounded in your real life, your real experiences, your real feelings. It may feel dull at first. That's normal. Your dopamine receptors need time to reset, but with consistency, your brain begins to rewire. Your body begins to respond. Blood flow improves, sensitivity returns, and what once felt numb can begin to feel alive again. Second, focus on reconnection.
not just with your body, but with your breath, your mind, your emotions. Make your private moments less about release and more about awareness. Turn off the screen, close your eyes, pay attention to sensation. Notice your breathing, relax your pelvic muscles, slow your pace, bring intention back into the process. You're not a machine, you're a man, and your body still wants to feel, but you have to give it the right environment. Let's talk now about how to reverse the damage, because here's the good news. This isn't a death sentence for your intimacy or your circulation. Your body can change, even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. I've worked with men well into their 80s who've made these simple adjustments and seen incredible results. But it starts with 3 commitments. Number 1, slow down. Stop rushing through pleasure like it's a chore. Let arousal build naturally. Give your nervous system a chance to shift into a relaxed state before climax. That alone can reduce vascular stress and improve long-term circulation. Number 2, breathe. Practice deep belly-centered breathing during arousal. It doesn't have to be complicated, just in through the nose, out through the mouth. Try to keep your breathing smooth and consistent. This helps your arteries stay open. It tells your body, I'm safe, and it keeps blood flowing where it needs to go. And number 3, recover fully. Give your body days between sessions to rebuild nitric oxide, restore hormonal balance, and let your tissues reset. You're not depriving yourself, you're restoring yourself. And most importantly, begin the process of mental rewiring. Break the dependency on synthetic stimulation, rebuild sensitivity, reconnect with real emotions, real memories, real desires. That's the foundation of lasting intimacy, not just for your body, but for your heart. You know, people often ask me, Dr. Jain, how long does it take to feel a difference? The answer varies. For some men, it's a few weeks. For others, a few months. But what matters is that change starts the moment you decide to listen to your body and stop pushing it past its limits. You don't need more pills. You don't need more pressure. You don't need more shame. What you need is awareness, a willingness to change, and someone to remind you that your best years can still be ahead of you. You're not too old. You're not too far gone, and you're certainly not alone. Every man I've worked with has had doubts. Some thought they had to settle, that intimacy was over, that aging meant surrender. But the truth is, it's never too late to feel good again. The mistake isn't in your body, it's in the habit, and the habit can be changed. Let me be clear, this is not about denying yourself pleasure. It's about changing the way you approach it. Making it less mechanical, more intentional, less compulsive, more connective. That shift alone can radically improve your blood flow, your energy, your sense of self. And here's something I want every man listening to remember. Your body is still capable. It hasn't given up on you. It's just been trying to adapt to the patterns you've repeated. Give it a new pattern. Teach it calm. Teach it patience. Teach it pleasure that supports your health, not drains it. This isn't just about erections. It's about circulation, confidence, connection, and clarity. How you treat your body in private shapes how you show up in the world. Your mood, your sleep, your focus, your relationships, they all flow from the same source. And that source begins with how well your blood moves through your body. Let's take a deep breath right here. Because if you've come this far, it means something clicked. Something resonated. Maybe you recognized your own habits and the mistakes I talked about. Maybe for the first time in years, you realize this wasn't your fault. It was just something no one ever taught you. Until now. Let's quickly bring it all together. Mistake number 1, rushing the act. When you treat self-pleasure like a race, your body reacts with stress, not openness. Blood flow tightens, nervous system locks up, and over time, this trains your body to work against itself. Mistake number 2, clenching your muscles and holding your breath. That tension doesn't stay in your shoulders or gut. It chokes off the very circulation you depend on for feeling, for warmth, for intimacy. The more you lock up, the more you lose connection. Mistake number 3, daily or excessive stimulation without giving your system time to recharge. You drain your libido, you flatten your emotional response, and you leave your body running on empty even when your mind wants more. Mistake number 4, over-reliance on modern pornography. It overstimulates your brain, rewires your arousal pathways, and slowly makes real connection feel dull. Your nervous system forgets how to respond to reality, and you're left chasing shadows instead of feeling touch. But here's what matters most. All of these are reversible. All of them. Let me give you the 4 shifts to make starting today. Not next month, not when things get worse. Today. First, create space. Slow down. Give yourself permission to stop rushing through pleasure. Take your time. Make it an experience, not a task. The older male body thrives on rhythm, not urgency. Second, breathe deeply, not just when you're aroused, but all throughout your day. Retrain your nervous system to see pleasure as something safe, not threatening. Deep breathing isn't just relaxing, it's vascular medicine, it's hormonal regulation, and it's the doorway to lasting performance. Third, recover fully. Respect your body's need to rebuild. That may mean 3, 4, or even 5 days between sessions. You're not depriving yourself, you're letting your body come back stronger. And the longer you wait, the more powerful the experience often becomes. Fourth, reconnect with reality. That means stepping away from high-intensity, dopamine-driven screens and returning to the deeper, slower, more human side of intimacy. That might be memories, that might be your own imagination, that might be simply learning to feel again without filters or noise. These 4 changes can reboot your arousal system from the inside out. They reduce pressure on your blood vessels, they support healthy nitric oxide release, they rebuild your brain's reward center, and they restore something most men don't even realize they're missing: trust in their own body again. I want to talk to you man to man for a second, just you and me. You might be feeling frustrated. You might be feeling ashamed. Maybe you've been living with this secret fear for a while, wondering what's wrong with you, why you don't feel like you used to, why your body doesn't respond the same way. Let me say this clearly. Nothing is wrong with you, but something may be out of alignment, and that's something you can fix. You don't have to carry the weight of silence. You don't have to pretend it's all fine. You don't have to keep adjusting to decline like it's your only option. Because it's not. You're not broken, you're not finished, you're not too late. You're just one new decision away from shifting the trajectory of your next 10, 15, even 20 years. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond turn things around not by chasing some miracle product, but by finally learning how to listen to their own body again, and then honoring it with care, with patience, and with presence. That's the real secret. Not pills, not pressure, not hacks. Presence. How you show up for yourself in those private moments teaches your nervous system how to show up in the rest of your life. The way you breathe, move, feel, and respond when no one's watching, that sets the tone for how you relate to everyone and everything else. When you treat your body with force, it responds with resistance. But when you treat it with curiosity, with gentleness, with rhythm, your body opens again. Blood flows, sensation returns, confidence rises. It's not magic, it's biology. You are still capable of deep connection, strong intimacy, healthy circulation, and real pleasure. But you have to be willing to unlearn what no longer serves you. You have to meet your body where it is today, not where it was at 30 or 40 or even 50, but where it is right now, in this season of life. And that starts with one choice. Will you keep doing what's familiar, even if it drains you? Or will you try something new, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first? That uncomfortability, that's growth knocking. That's healing beginning. So here's your invitation. Today, slow down. Today, breathe deeper. Today, turn off the noise. Today, make space for your own body to speak to you without shame, without guilt, without rushing to the end. And when you do, you'll begin to notice the subtle returns. Warmth, response, ease, sensation. That spark that you thought was gone, it was never gone. It was just buried under habits that no longer belong to the man you are now. You still have time. You still have power. You still have the capacity to change. And if no one's told you this today, let me say it again. You are not done yet. Your story is still unfolding, and how you choose to show up for your body today will shape how you feel tomorrow and far beyond. So take that first breath, make that first shift, and step into the next chapter with clarity, strength, and the quiet confidence of a man who chooses connection over chaos, starting now. I'm Dr. Sophia Jain, and I'm honored to be a part of your journey. Stay curious, stay strong, and stay open, because the best of you is still ahead.